This is boring, but it books me 5 to 10 SMMA appointments every single day on autopilot. And it's easy. You can set it up in literally 30 minutes and start booking calls tomorrow, but no one is doing it for some reason. And in this training, I'm gonna take a deep dive into my iPad. And no, I already know you're thinking you don't have to send a single cold DM or make a single cold call to a prospect that hates you. And this strategy, it's not luck. We have over 51 agency owners who are making over 50K a month with the same exact system. And here's exactly how we're doing it. And so in my solar agency in one day, we got 100 leads, spent $887, and out of these 100 leads, we booked 54 calls. And I know you're already thinking, I don't have $800 to spend in one day. I'm gonna show you exactly how you can do this with spending 20, 30 bucks a day. It was with Facebook ads, and here were the exact creatives we were running. When it comes to Facebook ads and a successful ad campaign, there's 4 parts of the campaign. The first part is gonna be creative, right? Which is like this right here. So like this girl or this image right here. So like the actual video or the actual image. Now, the creative is the most important part. Obviously, it's like the only thing that actually matters. If you have a winning creative, you have a winning ad. If your creative sucks, then your ad sucks. Like it's literally what makes or breaks the ad because it takes up the most real estate. Literally is just the most of the page. And then if you think about like why you click on an ad, because of the copy, you don't read all the text and be like, oh, I like this ad. Second thing is going to be copy and the headline. And the headline is right here where it says more installs pay on results, and the copy is right here where it says solar business owners only pay per install. That's where it's located. There's actually not even a headline on Instagram, so like when the placement's on Instagram, well, there is technically, but not on like the Instagram feed. Regardless, next is targeting, and all targeting is who we're going after, who we're targeting, like what pocket of audiences that we're targeting. And then the last thing is conversion. So basically we get the creative, they see the copy headline, then like we're targeting them, and then once they click it, it's the conversion. So once they click the ad, how are they going to get off the ad into a sales call with us and then become a paying client? And so this is exactly how we set up our Facebook ads to book 5 to 10 calls every single day. So the first thing we're going to go over is the creative, which I said is the most important part. Now, creative is literally just the video. Now, the creative is literally just the image or the video or like whatever is taking up the most real estate. So first thing, there's video creatives and image creatives for you guys who haven't ran ads in the past before. Static images usually will get cheaper lead costs, but be lower intent because people don't see your face. They don't know the brand. They don't know who you are. Videos typically will have more expensive lead costs, but will be higher intent. A lot of people think videos are just better. I don't necessarily think one's better than the other. It's not always cookie cutter. But when it comes to creative, when it comes to ads, when it comes to literally anything, offer is king. Like Hermosi says, offer is literally everything. So like I said a second ago, why do you click on it? You're going to click on an ad because you resonated with the actual offer on the ad. You thought it was attractive. You liked the creative most likely. And so if we're going to think about it, like the offer on a training ad, let's say you opted into a training ad and it was, I'm going to give you this free 100K a month training, and you opted in and you liked it. You wanted the offer, which was 100K a month free training, right? If you clicked on an ad that said 10 clients guaranteed, you wanted 10 clients guaranteed. That's most likely why you click. People are clicking because of the offer. And so if you don't have a good offer in your ad, then your ad's not going to convert. Doesn't matter how pretty your creative is. It doesn't matter how good your targeting is. Literally nothing else matters if your offer isn't there. But if your offer is good, you can have a shitty creative with shitty targeting, with a shitty copy and a shitty headline, and odds are you'll still make a little bit of money. When it comes to static ads, it's literally so simple the way we do it. It's literally so easy. Now you're looking at the ad and you're probably like, well, Cole, this is fucking really ugly. Yeah, it is. It's not pretty, but it works. What we call this is a direct response ad, where it's literally like direct response. We're getting a direct response from the market if they want the offer or not. It's literally like pay-per-close job. Do you want that? Click on it. We get a direct response right then and there. And our return on ad spend on cash is day 1, which basically means that like someone's going to close. They're going to close on the first day that they see the ad, or the second day or the third day, versus with some other funnels, it can be 30 days, 90 days, 120 days, things like that. But you make this in Canva, should take you 5 minutes. Essentially what you do is you have this pre-qualifier. Like this scenario is just roofers. In this scenario, it's roofers. We just wrote roofers. Why? Because that's who we're targeting. So whatever we put here, Facebook's going to do a lot of the targeting for us. And if we're calling out roofers, then ideally, and this is how Facebook's algorithm works, roofers click on it because they see roofers. When roofers start to click on it, Facebook starts to learn upon that data and send it to more roofers. If we didn't put roofers here, we just put pay-per-close job, then we could get solar guys, HVAC guys, general contractors, things like that. First thing is pre-qualifier. Sometimes with the pre-qualifier, we can do like roofers closing over 10 jobs a month if we have a problem with quality or something like that. Well, so we'll add a ceiling, like add a floor. Like we only want roofers doing over 10 jobs a month, or established roofers over $1 million a year. First is pre-qualifier. Second is the offer. So pay per per closed job. And then this is also the offer, $500 flat fee. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then down here, literally, it's not that important. We'll just do scarcity or CTA. So CTA would be like click learn more below to learn how. This is so simple. We make this in Canva. I think this font is Horizon or Montserrat. It's just one color. The offer will carry everything. When we launch ads to a market that we don't know, this is exactly what we do. Now, when it comes to video creatives, it's essentially the same type of structure. So, but it's going to be obviously like in a video. So it's going to be pre-qualifier, right? So we're just going to say it though. So it's going to be roofers, offer, right? Roofers. And if we're going to use like this other example that we were using earlier, so it'd be like roofers, pre-qualifier, offer, only pay per closed job. So roofers, offer, pay per closed job. And then proof is just like social proof. Now, if you don't have any social proof and you're just starting out, you do something called like unique mechanism, which is like how the system works. I bet you've seen ads like that 100 times. The pre-qualifier, roofers or established roofers closing over 10 jobs a month, or HVAC or dentist clinic owners, dental clinic owners, or something like that. And then offer right after is going to be whatever your offer is, only pay per close, pay per appointment, 10 jobs guaranteed or whatever. And then proof would just be case studies. So the way this is usually phrased is like, my client John did this, my client Tim did this, my client Steve did this, and then CTA. So if that sounds interesting to you, click the link below, book a call. Super simple. Like it's not super complex stuff at the beginning, as long as your offer can pretty much carry you throughout the whole way. Something to keep in mind. These are just 4 parts of the ad. You can switch it around sometimes, right? And so you can switch around offer and proof. And so instead of being like roofers, my client Tim did this, that's why I can offer you a pay per close deal. Generally with video ads, like the closer the offer is to the beginning, the cheaper your cost per lead will be, just because like they're seeing the offer faster, more people will see the offer, you'll get more clicks. But kind of like the lower your show rate will be, the lower intent, they won't trust you as much. Vice versa, if you put the proof before the offer, your cost per lead will be higher, but your cost per qualified book call might be lower because they're forced to watch a testimonial actually before they even hop on a sales call with you. Now, what I want you guys to keep in mind is like for the stage that like you guys are at, like if you were even under 30K a month, a lot of times I like images more than videos. Like we've scaled images up to 100K a month. A lot of people are like videos are better. And I don't know where that like misconception necessarily came from, but images over videos, especially at the beginning, there's way more room for error when it comes to videos. Do you look the part? Do you have a good background? Do you have good camera quality? Do you have editing? Do you have everything like that? Are you stuttering? What do you sound like? What do you look like? What does your hair look like? And it's like people buy from people that they resonate with. And so if you don't fit the part, let's use Iman Ghazi as an example. Like if he was like really fat, not a traditionally handsome looking man, didn't have a Rolex, didn't have those nice cars and live in Dubai, but he was trying to teach people how to make money, like the messaging would, like no one would click on his ads. No one would click on his YouTube videos. He doesn't fit the part. And so it's the same. If you're selling to solar guys, but you look like a 15-year-old kid, like probably not going to click on your ad. So like a lot of the time people will have perfect scripting, perfect messaging, but they will be on the ad and they don't look the part and they literally won't convert because of that. Same thing with background, same thing with quality, editing, etc. So there's just so much that goes into a video ad. It's a lot easier to fuck it up. A lot easier to mess up your video ad. It's not as hard to mess up an image when you're making it in Canva and it's like 3 words. Images is literally like I was talking about earlier. Do you want this? Yes, you want this. Okay, click the ad and then we'll go from there. That's the creative. That's how you're going to make creative. I suggest making 3 creatives, slightly different variations. If you're going to do static, then I would make 3 the same creative with different colors, slightly different fonts. If you're going to do videos, I would do 3 different hooks. So the pre-qualifiers, 1 body. And so we can kind of test what's working, what's not. Just because like sometimes one color of an ad will resonate, but the next one won't, even though they're the same exact word. So like I said, next is the copy and the headline. This is the easy part. Like it should take you 3 minutes to do. Way less important. Let's say the creative and offer is 98% of the whole thing. The copy and the headline is probably 0.5. What you can do is you can go to facebookadslibrary.com. Again, this is what the copy this is what the headline looks like, more results, and then this is what the copy looks like right there. The headline, just put your offer. You see here it says pay on result because that was our offer in solar. If it's 30 appointments in 10 days, that's your offer. Put it there. If it's 100 appointments, if it's 10 jobs guaranteed, put it there. And then copy. The 2 things I do like to do is the first line have the pre-qualifier, which again is solar business owners for us or roofers or whatever. Line 2, have your offer. So you see right here, we have only pay per install, like on our offer here. And then the rest, you can literally chat GPT it. Pretend you're Sabri Subi and you're writing copy for a roofing marketing agency and just chat GPT it. Or you can just take one off Ads Library, put it in chat GPT and ask them what you can do. Or you can just put in ads library, or you can just take one from ads library, put it back in ChatGPT and tell them to reword it. Now, next thing we're going to be going over is just the targeting options. And so we have the creative, we have the copy, we have that headline, the whole ads basically built out. Now we're going to put it into the ads manager, figure out who to target to make sure that this goes properly. Now there's a few different targeting options. The thing I want you to realize is the creative does do most of the targeting. Because we put the pre-qualifier in there, Facebook is incentivized to get you the best results with Facebook ads. Why? Because they want you to keep spending money. They want you to win, because if you win, you spend more money. If you lose, you don't spend as much money because you're running out of your money. So they're obviously incentivized to get you the best results possible. And so their Facebook's AI is way better at targeting than you could ever be. So a lot of the times what we will do, kind of segueing into that, is we'll literally just leave it broad, which is just like not targeting anybody, targeting everybody, only putting a restriction on the location and age. In your guys' case, it'll just be US for the location. You probably won't putting like a specific restriction on it, but age, sometimes you guys can do. If we're targeting agency owners on our ads, we'll do 18 to 40, 45. We typically don't go above that. But for solar, it was around 25 to 65 because obviously solar guys are older, but like mid-age. But this lets Facebook do all the work and does what it does best, right? Facebook's smarter than us. We're not as smart as Facebook is. So we literally just let Facebook do its thing. So broad is one. There's interest stack broad, right? And then interest stack narrow. And I'll kind of explain what these are. So an interest stack is stacking a bunch of interests into basically the audience, right? So it'd be like 20 plus. So let's say it was roofer. Some that we like to do for roofers is like domestic roof construction, roof shingle, roof, home, power drill, a bunch of stuff like this, all right? Things that roofers would be interested in. And so with broad, we basically let Facebook be like, hey, you go do whatever you want and figure it out. Interest stack is like, hey, these are the types of people that we're looking to get. Go play within that. Now, I really do like interest stacks, especially on a fresh ad account. So an ad account that has completely zero spend. Facebook ad accounts learn upon each other. So when you spend more on your ad account, you're going to get better results because Facebook's like, oh, and your pixel is like, Facebook's like, oh, I've been targeting roofers my whole life with $100,000. Now I know who to go after, right? And so that's when we can do a lot of broad targeting, right? Is when, oh, we spent a lot of money on this ad account already. Now we can go completely broad, let Facebook do its thing. But if you haven't spent any money on your ad account in your niche, then odds are we're probably going to have to go with an interest stack. So there's interest stack broad, which would be not as many interests and just leave it pretty open. And then interest stack narrow makes sense. You put way more interest in there and make the audience a little smaller. So the broad one should have audience over 20 million. And then the narrow should have one under 20 million. It's similar to broad. It lets Facebook do a lot of the work, but we're helping it a little bit. A plus, super similar to broad, but instead of being completely open to everybody, Facebook kind of just finds its way and does whatever it wants. A lookalike audience is making a similar audience to qualified leads that you have had in the past. Honestly, it's one of our best performers along with A plus. So if you do have like 100 qualified appointments you've booked for your agency, then I would take that list. I'd look up on YouTube how to make a lookalike audience. I'd put it in a custom list. I'd make a 1%, 2%, 3%, 4% lookalike of it. And I'd run that. Lookalikes crush it for us. Even if you have like 20 to 40,000 like contacts of cold data that you've used like cold outreaching, let's say you were like cold calling them or emailing them and you have like 20 to 40,000, you can put those into Facebook, make a lookalike audience off of it, which basically is like, oh, 1% of people who act the same as these types of people. And that's one of the best like targeting that you can actually do on Facebook. It's honestly my favorite. There's really no problems with it. Just like the better your original audience is, like the better quality, the better the lookalike audience is going to be. Obviously, if you can have 40,000 people that you've closed as a client, imagine being able to make a lookalike audience off of that, off of clients that you've closed. That's when it starts to get really, really solid. But even cold leads does work. Retargeting, that's not super important for you guys, but it's just taking the people who have already seen your ads and your page and then retargeting them, hitting them with another piece of content or a testimonial or another ad. This really just makes them trust you more because they see your face a lot. Not super, super important under the 100K a month mark. You don't need retargeting to book 10 appointments a day. You need retargeting to drop your CAC in a third. And then I do have videos on that. So last thing is going to be testing audience pockets. So this is kind of similar to the interest stack, just a little bit different. It's having one audience to target. So like I was talking about for roofing, when we would stack in the interest stack, power tool, domestic roof construction, all of this, we would instead just do one power tool. That's it. Or domestic roof construction. That's it. And so it helps isolate the audience to find a little pocket in Facebook where your audience is very good to find like super, super qualified leads. And so if you've never ran ads before on that ad account, I'd go with an interest stack and an audience pocket probably, or interest stack and a lookalike audience. Those are probably going to be like your best bet. If you can make a lookalike audience, then that's what I would do. Like if you're just starting out Facebook ads on that ad account in that niche, then I would do interest stack, lookalike audience, spend a little bit of money, I would go lookalike or A+, and that is what I would do regarding targeting. So now we know who to target. We have the creative, we have the copy, we have the headline, we literally have everything. Last is lead form versus landing page. So how we're going to take them off, basically once they click, how we're going to get them to an appointment. So two things. Lead form is something where they stay on Facebook, right? And so it's like, if you don't know already, you click the lead form and it's like, it auto fills the information, blah, blah, blah. You've seen it. You probably filled one out before. Pros on a lead form is it's cheaper. There's lower intent because it's autofill, which basically means like on the lead form, like you don't have to put your information in because like Facebook already saves it and Instagram already saves it. So it just autofills it when they're putting in their like name, email, phone number. Because it's lower intent and it autofill, lower pickup rate. And typically our cost per book call and our cost per lead will be cheaper with a lead form, which is why I do suggest people use it at the beginning. Second thing, landing page. That's when they click the ad and go completely off onto a separate page. It's the opposite. So it's more expensive, higher intent, higher pickup rate, higher cost per lead and cost per book call. The thing is people usually do landing pages. Like you probably see big guys doing it is because at scale, when you're using Hyros, you can get better data with the landing page, feed that back to Facebook and optimize for schedules. But if you're not spending like over $1,000 a day, like I wouldn't even worry about that. Now, this is how we set up the lead form, like exactly. Like I said, you're spending less than $1,000 a day. Don't worry about getting onto a landing page. Keep it simple with the lead form. You can scale lead forms to 100K a month pretty easily. Lead form setup, that's exactly what it's going to look like. So basically, it's just going to be, hey there, fill out your info below and we'll text you how this works. Text, that's a pretty important word because now we're just like, we're going to text you, making sure that they put their real phone number in. First question, we like to do a qualifying question. So how many deals are you closing a month? At 0 to 5 deals, disqualify them, and we'll kind of get into why later. And then here they're qualified, here they're qualified, here they're qualified. So we like to have one qualifying question, fill out your info below, and we'll text you how this works, and have hey there with the waving emoji that we've just seen the best results with that. And on the calendar page, like when they go to book a call, like on the calendar, this is what we have written. So one last step, due to the high demand and limited capacity, lock in your spot by selecting lock spot and booking a call. This is pretty self-explanatory. You guys can literally just copy that, and that's what's crushing it for our internal clients right now. So here are a few hacks and things to keep in mind about when you're actually running the lead form. First things first, use conditional logic. So conditional logic is what I was talking about earlier. Like on this, that's basically like if they're between 0 to 5 deals, like we're not going to let them through the lead form. Like they're not going to be counted as a lead. And so the reason we do that, we don't want anybody to be counted as a lead who wouldn't be qualified for our service, because Facebook's going to basically optimize for us to get the cheapest leads because they want us to succeed. And so when they optimize for us to get the cheapest leads and it just keeps getting shit leads over and over and over again, it just learns on itself. We're like giving them a pat on the back when they're not doing well, if that makes sense. So it's like we need to reward Facebook for what they're actually doing well. So we use conditional logic to push everybody away that isn't super qualified for our service and train the pixel. The bad thing about this is your lead cost might be a little high at the beginning, but once Facebook learns and goes, hey, okay, this is the type of people it wants. It doesn't want the people between 0 to 5. It wants the guys at 15 jobs and above or above 10K a month, whatever. It'll just keep learning upon itself. And then second thing, make this DQ page look like the lead was submitted. This is huge. So when they put 0 to 5 jobs a month with the conditional logic and they get disqualified, it's going to send them to a completely different page as if they were qualified and they can go book a call. You need to make the pages look this. The reason is if I was to get DQ'd on a funnel, you know what I would do? I'd go back and I'd go put my information in again and I'd change my answer. And so then the conditional logic is pretty useless because, well, you're just getting all leads coming in. So basically make that DQ page say, hey, thanks for your answers. Seems like you qualify. We'll reach out to you in 72 hours and blah, blah, blah. And we just never reach out to them. So it's preventing us from getting those leads who put in fake information. Last thing, the booking page post lead form. Now, just a few things. I didn't even know if I was going to include it, but I thought it was pretty important for you guys that I want you to keep in mind to keep show rates higher and to keep self-booking rates higher. So the KPI for our self-booking is 30 to 60% depending on niche. Solar, roofing, HVAC, you can get up to 80%, but like info, e-com, it's around like 10 to 20. So just super dependent on your niche, like 20 for e-com. A few things to keep in mind. This page is optimized for mobile. It's not optimized for the desktop. Like no one cares about that. No one's going to go on your page on their desktop. Next thing, offer in the headline. So it'll just be only pay per close, 30 appointments guaranteed, whatever you have. We have a description. Due to the high volume of applicants we receive, we cannot offer reschedules. That's not super crucial. Just make sure your page is optimized for mobile or else self-booking rate's going to be awful. And the next thing we do is we want to have as much availability as possible within the next 3 days. So today, tomorrow, the next day, as much availability as possible. This is going to help with show rate and close rate and self-booking rate. Reason is because people are going to have more slots to book. So they're going to book more often. And then when they do book, it's just literally just like going to be the more optimal time. Because if you only had like 4 slots open a day for 3 days, I can try and make it in the mornings, but I'm not that good. But you can't communicate that through a page. So if we have 3 pages, as much availability as physically possible, people are booking the most optimal time to actually show up to the call. Going to leave your show rates higher. So I hope this helped you guys out. If it did, subscribe. And I appreciate you guys.